Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, Text 15 to 18 today. So, would anyone like to read the texts?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shilpa Mataji, you can go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shoshayishta vidhasalile andakosho niratmakaha sagram vai varsha sahastram na anvavatsit mishravaha. Hare Krishna. Should I read the translation? There's somebody to read.
I'll call out the names, Mataji. No, thank you, Mataji. I'll call out somebody else. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read the translation, Prabhuji. And Sudha Mataji can read the purport. Prabhuji, should we read the purport also?
Just the translations for all the verses.
Okay, Prabhuji. Then Krishnamurti, go ahead, Prabhuji. Only the translation. Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. For over 1,000 years, the shiny egg lay on the waters of the casual ocean in the lifeless state. Then the Lord entered it as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Should we all read all the shlokas, Prabhuji?
I'm not sure whatever is your tradition. You can go ahead with
Okay,
that.
Prabhuji, then we'll go ahead with the shloka. Yes, Sudha Mataji, you can read the shloka, and Vrishabhanu Mataji can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tasya nabherabhut padmam sahasrarporudivyati sarva जीवनिका यौकौ यत्र स्वयं भूस्वराट. Thank you, Prabhu.
तुमने सही किया ये सारे tabs खोल के. Thank you.
From the level of the personality of Godhead,
Now I'm unmuting. Okay.
Garbhodakashayi Vishnu sprouted a lotus flower effulgent like a 1,000 blazing suns. This lotus flower is the reservoir of all conditioned souls, and the first living entity who came out of the lotus flower was the omnipotent Brahma.
Thank you, Mataji. Shanti Mataji, you can read the next shloka.
Hare Krishna.
And Vasudha Mataji can go ahead with the translation. Hare Krishna.
Sho anu vishto bhagavata yah ete shalilashaye loka samstam yata purvam nirmame samsayatpaya. Hare Krishna. Translation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When that Supreme Personality of Godhead
who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean, entered the heart of Brahma. Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. Hare Krishna. Prashanti Mataji can go ahead with the 18th shloka, and Janki Mataji can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sasarja chacha chayaya vidyam panchaparnamahamagrataha tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatamaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number and are called Tamshra, Andatamishra, Tamas, Moha and Mahamoha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Was number 19 included as well?
Hare Krishna. Chandana Mataji, is 19th shloka is also
I
there
thought
for today?
I was given only 15 to 18.
Okay, then, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam here in this Canto 3 entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 20, which explains about how this whole creation, in short, it's explaining how the creation came into being, and then later on, in more detail, in Canto 5 and other cantos, they'll explain in more detail. But here he's saying that there was the previous verses which explain there was all of this pradhan which actually was there. It doesn't use the name pradhan here now, but later on it actually explains that all of these, when the actual creation started, all of the 3 modes of material nature were agitated. And then the false ego was evolved from the Mahat Tattva. And so a lot of very technical words are being used, sometimes Pradhan, sometimes Mahat Tattva, and then suddenly Prakriti is there, and we see that Garbhodakshai Vishnu is entering into this shiny egg that's there. So what is the whole basis behind it? In Srimad Bhagavatam, in future texts, you will actually see what is the essence of Pradhan, Mahat Tattva, and Prakriti. Basically, Pradhan is undifferentiated, unmanifested matter. which means just a lump of all kinds of matter, including time, including the three modes. They are all in equilibrium. That is pradhan. And but they are separate, they are undifferentiated, unmanifested matter. They are all together as a one lump. Then from there comes Mahat Tattva. And this uh, Mahat Tattva is differentiated, unmanifested matter, which means in this pradhan, there is the glance of the Lord. And as soon as the Lord glances on this pradhan, the undifferentiated, unmanifested matter becomes differentiated, yet unmanifested matter. So they were all together as a lump. When the Lord's glance comes in, it all becomes differentiated. Now you can see within, it's all within the pradhan, it's all unmanifested, but you can see this is the origin of time. This is the origin of three modes of nature. Oh, this is the origin of, so now they've become undifferentiated. They're differentiated but unmanifested. And then when the living entity comes in, it becomes differentiated, manifested matter, and that becomes prakriti. So pradhan is impregnated with the Lord's energy, that's known as Mahat Tattva, and then the false ego is actually produced. And Mahavishnu, when he glances, that glance consists of living entities and their karma. And so false ego is also manifested now. That is what causes this material creation, this differentiated, manifested matter. From undifferentiated, unmanifested matter in pradhan goes to differentiated, manifested matter in prakriti. So it's like when we are cooking, if we put all the ingredients in, we put the sabji in, we put the tadka in, but we don't turn on the gas. Will anything cook? All the material is there, all the ingredients are there, but it will not manifest as food. So it is in differentiated, unmanifested state. Or when the glance comes in, glance is like turning the gas on. Then things start cooking and start getting more and more manifested. So we will see in verse 26 and other onwards, there's more details of how these things manifest. But ultimately, it's Pradhan, Mahatattva, and Prakriti. Some places, Mahatattva is referred to as Hiranmaya. Hiranmaya or Mahatattva are both same. So ultimately, this will help you, help all of us understand um, as we go through some of these very unmanifested explanations given by Srila Prabhupada and by Srila Shukadev Goswami. Many times devotees ask, this is so complicated to understand. It has so many different reference points. Why is it there in Srimad Bhagavatam? We love all the pastimes and all of these things. But remember, this is being spoken by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit had only 7 days to live, and still Shukadev Goswami considered that this is very essential to be spoken to a person who has only 7 days to live. And those who are devotees of the Lord, we understand that this is also a pastime. Creation is also a pastime of the Lord. If we can actually go beyond this and say, wow, the Lord is so great that just by his glance, he impregnated the material nature with all the living entities. Wow, amazing. And we can suddenly see it as a pastime of the Lord that's going on. At the same time, there are so many philosophical lessons Here it says false ego is the root cause of all the creation. And here, this particular shiny egg that lay down for thousands of years in the causal water, lifeless state, Garbhodakshay Vishnu entered. And he actually then, so first there is the Mahavishnu. From his pores, all these different universes come out. Within each universe, Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. That's what we are seeing in this verse today. He enters into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. He lies down on the Garbhodaka ocean, on Sheshnag. And then from his navel, a lotus flower comes out, like 1,000 blazing suns. And this lotus flower is actually a reservoir of all the conditioned souls. And then on the top of this lotus flower is Brahma. And when Brahma comes up, he is totally in darkness. In previous cantos, we have seen Brahma is telling Narad Muni, it was total darkness. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was going, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? Where is this place? I can't see anything. Have any of you experienced total darkness? No light whatsoever. In the city where we live, even if we go out in the night, some little light is there somewhere. But if we go in the middle of the jungle, in the middle of the night, some places even the moonlight cannot enter. In such total darkness, one cannot even see their hands. Imagine the fear of what am I supposed to do by Lord Brahma. And then it is explained here that Krishna enters into the heart of Brahma. And it is explained elsewhere. He says, Tapa, Tapa. These are the first two words of creation. And the meaning of these words is revealed to Brahma in his heart. Tapa, Tapa, perform austerity, perform tapasya. And so Lord Brahma, inspired by the Paramatma within the heart, he performed tapasya for thousands of years, and then Tene Hridaya Brahmai Adikavaye, that from his heart he was revealed the transcendental knowledge of creation, how things need to be created. Here it says, when that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. So in this way, Krishna says that 15th chapter, I am seated in everyone's heart, and by me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. All of these things are possible. This is only because of the super soul. And all of this inspiration is given by Krishna himself. And then finally, he explains when Brahma starts his creation, he starts by the coverings of ignorance of conditioned souls. So this universe, if we want to penetrate outside this universe, we have to go across these coverings of ignorance. Even if we explore the end of the universe, we won't be able to go past it, because that end of the universe is made of the same items that is present within us, which are 5 coverings that he started. The shadow of, from his shadow, and these coverings were of ignorance were created from his own shadow. What are the 5 coverings? Tamisra, Andha Tamisra, Tamas, Moha, and Mahamoha. Here it says, Prabhupada explains that Tamisra means anger or envy. And then next is Andha Tamisra, which means the mentality that we are the enjoyer. Then Tamas, Andha Tamisra. From there we come to Tamas. Next is Tamas. Tamas means I am this body, and anything in relation to this body is mine. That kind of ignorance. From Tamas, then is Moha, which is that everything that is belonging to this body is mine. Into Moha, and then Moha becomes Mahamoha when we become mad after material enjoyment. So these are the 5 coverings: anger, bodily identification, and the rest of it is all based on bodily identification. But all of this starts with Tamisra, which is anger or envy. That happens because we think we are the enjoyer, and when it's frustrated, when that is frustrated, then anger comes up. Many times we think, oh, I don't envy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm a devotee. I don't envy God. I may envy some other people, but I don't envy God. But actually, if we introspect, we will see that if we perform even one act of sense gratification, that is declaring that I am the enjoyer. And that is due to giving a competition to the supreme enjoyer. And in that way, that is born out of envy. We may not understand it, we may not manifest it, but it's actually, that's the root cause. I want to be the enjoyer, not Krishna be the supreme enjoyer. However, if that same sense gratification is turned into gratification for Krishna, then we are participating in Krishna's enjoyment. We are enjoying by participating in Krishna's enjoyment. That is devotional service. If we try to enjoy separate from Krishna, even something as simple as a morsel of food, that is due to envy. And so here says anger or envy, and so it manifests as anger as well. And in anger, we become mad. We sometimes don't know what we are saying. We sometimes don't know what we are doing. So one time, a person went to a sage and he said, "My dear sage, I have this problem that I get very angry. What should I do? And then I know what the bad effects of anger are. I hurt people and everyone gets hurt and scared. What do I do?" So the sage said, "Do you have a fence in your house?" He said, "Yeah, I have a wooden fence outside." He said, "Do you have some nails?" He said, "Yeah, I have some nails." He said, "Okay, next time when you get angry, every time you get angry, you take a nail and hammer it inside the fence, on the fence." He said, "What will that do?" He said, "No, just do that. You will feel better." He says, "Okay." So next time when he was getting angry, he took the nail and he started hammering it on the fence. He came back, he felt nice. All his anger came out on the fence, on the nail in the fence. Next time again he got angry. Before bursting out, he went and he started hammering. And then very soon his entire fence became full of all the nails. And then he said, "What now? What should I do? Now, if I get angry, there's no space left." So he went back to the sage. "What do I do? My whole fence is full of nails. What do I do now?" He said, this time when you get angry, pull out the nails. And he said, okay, let me do that. Next time he got angry, he went outside, he started pulling out all the nails, and all of the effort that it took, all of his anger dissipated in that. And then very soon he took out all the nails, and he was again like, now what do I do? So he went back to the sage. You asked me to nail the fence. I put all the nails. Then you asked me to take them out. All of them are out now. Now what do I do if I get angry? I need something. He said, now when you get angry, go out and look at the fence. What do you see in the fence? He says, well, I would see all holes. He said, try to meditate that this is what happens in other people's hearts when you express your anger towards them. You can never fill it. It will never be the same. Every time you become angry at someone, remember the fence full of holes, because that's what you're giving to others. And so this person really, that struck him. And every time he would get angry, he would go look at the fence full of holes, that this is what I'm making in other people's hearts. I cannot take these words spoken in anger, I cannot take them back. And I cannot then repair it back to what it was before. There is permanently that damage. And so he became very careful when he was getting angry. So these are some of the ways that we can try to control our anger, but the most effective way is to take it out, take it to the root cause of envy out by chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, by associating with saintly devotees and by honoring prasad. Honoring prasad has tremendous potency, and associating with Srila Prabhupada through his books. And in this way, we can get rid of all of this tendency. Then this is Tamisra, then Andha Tamisra. This Tamisra actually, it says that in field of spiritual realization, this actually manifests as Mayavad. Then that goes to Andha Tamisra. Andha Tamisra means death is the ultimate end. After death, there is nothing. So there is a philosophy called Charvaka philosophy. Charvak was a sage who was kind of an atheist, but he was a muni. He was a thinker, and he said, "Yavad jivet sukham jivet, rinam kritva ghritam pibet, yavad jivet sukham jivet, bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kuta punaragaman bhavet." He says that rinam kritva ghritam pibet. Take as much debt as you can and drink ghee. Ghee is very expensive. He says, yeah, if you have to take debt, take as much debt and enjoy. Rinam kritva ghritam pibet. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. However long you live with full material happiness. Sukham is material happiness. Spiritual happiness is ananda. So there is a difference between sukha and ananda. With sukha, the dukkha also comes. With material happiness, material distress also comes. But with ananda, there is pure bliss. So, yavat jivet sukham jivet bhasmi bhutasya dehasya. Why should you live happily as long as you live? Because this body, it will become ashes. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kuta punaragaman bhavet. It will become ashes. Who has seen reincarnation? Who knows you will come back or not? No. Have you seen anyone come back? No. So just enjoy. Rinam kritva ghritam pibe. So this is Andhatamistra philosophy, that beg, borrow, or steal, even if you have to perform sinful activities, forget that, because after death, everything is finished. So no one is responsible for anything you do in your life. This is Andhatamistra because we think death is the ultimate end. In fact, um, there are many other pastimes where we understand that things happen, that there is life after death. Then from Andhatamisra, this ignorance, why is this ignorance there? That death is the ultimate end is because of tamas. That's the next covering. Tamas means ignorance about the spirit soul, thinking I'm this body. One time there was a king, and this king, he suddenly got up from his dream and he called all his ministers in the middle of the night and said, I have a very, very demanding question, very urgent. And the ministers, they were rubbing their eyes. Yes, what, in the middle of the night, what question do you have? No, 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 this is a life and death question. Okay, what is this question? When I was sleeping, the king said, I dreamt that I was a butterfly. So everyone said, wow, such a beautiful dream. That's good. That's great. And I saw that as a butterfly, I was going from one flower to another flower drinking nectar. The minister said, what's wrong with that? So the king said, my question is, am I the king who is dreaming that I'm the butterfly? Or am I the butterfly who's dreaming that I'm the king? And you are all in my dream as a king, all these ministers. What is true? And all of them started scratching. Well, from our perspective, you are the king, dreaming that you're the butterfly. No, but I could be the butterfly dreaming that I'm the king. So a very sane, wise sage came and he said, I can resolve it. And he said, you are neither the king dreaming you are the butterfly, nor you're the butterfly dreaming the king. You're the spirit soul who in the daytime dreams that you are the king, and in the nighttime dreams that you are the butterfly. So we are actually spirit soul, and people don't really understand that. So this is tamas, where we don't have any understanding of the spirit soul and therefore then we get into moha, which means, okay, I am this body. I don't know what spirit soul is, so I must be the body. If I'm the body, then anything in relationship to this body is mine. And then we start getting attracted and attached to things related to the body, our our, our bodily relatives and bodily clothes and so many different things. And then that leads to moha, or material attachment. Affection with family members is good. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, that Arjuna, he got afflicted with material attachment. And that's what Krishna said. Affection to family members is good, but when it crosses into material attachment, that's when you need to be very careful. That's moha. And how do we understand what's the line between affection to material attachment? From our perspective, that line is crossed when we start compromising on our spiritual sadhana, spiritual association, and seva. Then that affection is getting into material attachment. So that neglect of our spiritual life is manifested as moha, is the symptom of the material attachment. And then it gets into Mahamoha, where we become mad after material enjoyment. And all of this starts because of our false ego that is created. So the only way is that we focus on our sadhana, and when we are chanting the holy names, chant with feeling. That's when we can get absorption. When we are going into a cinema hall, and if the movie is very, very it catches our attention, we become absorbed because it has caught our feelings. If we are seen with feeling, and if the movie is able to capture our feelings, 3 hours we don't even know how it goes away. Similarly with chanting, if we chant with feeling, not with thinking, not with our thoughts, but we meditate with feeling, then we will get that absorption into chanting the holy names. And how do we feel? FEEL. F for forego, E for embrace, second E for enthusiastic, and L for let go. Forego, embrace, enthusiastic, and let go. What do we forego? Forego planning for the future. When we are chanting, simply focus on the feeling of helplessness, the feeling, think from the mind. E for embrace, embrace the present. That right now I'm chanting the holy names, and that this is the most important activity that is happening between me and Harinam Prabhu. Everything else does not exist. And that's a fact. Everything else is not real. The only thing that is real is our relationship, is the living entity, the holy name, and our relationship with the holy name. Everything else is actually immaterial. Actually, it does not exist in terms of its permanent nature. Only that relationship is permanent. Everything else will change. So embrace the present. Second E is for be enthusiastic. And if you cannot be enthusiastic, act enthusiastic. If you're not feeling enthusiastic, act as if you're enthusiastic. If you're not feeling love for Krishna, act as if we have love for Krishna. And then that act of acting enthusiastic, acting as if we love Krishna, will demonstrate our sincerity to Krishna. Krishna, I'm not feeling that love, but I want to love you. Look, I'm acting as if I love you. And then Krishna will reciprocate with that sincerity. He will understand, yes, you are really sincere. We should not act to show others that how devotional I am. If you show it to others, if you act for showing others, that's hypocrisy. So there's a very thin line between acting enthusiastic and for Krishna and acting enthusiastic for others. This is a very, uh, very personal expression of sincerity to Krishna. That my mind is saying, don't be enthusiastic, go sleep, be lazy. But I'm acting enthusiastic, going against my mind and saying yes to Krishna. Krishna, you told me to be enthusiastic. Prabhupada, you told me to be enthusiastic. I will be enthusiastic. I will act enthusiastic for you. However my mind is feeling. Then we will act. Then Krishna will give that real feeling when he's convinced that we really want it through our actions. And L is let go of the past. Forgo planning for the future, let go of the past. And embrace the present, be enthusiastic in that present. FEEL. That's when we will actually, Krishna will give us the real feeling of helplessness, real feeling of love to chant and focus, get absorbed in the taste for chanting the holy names. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That my pranams to you, Prabhuji. It was so wonderful, Prabhuji. The difference you could make us understand easily, Pradhana and Mahatattva. And a small story on the effects of anger. It was so nice, Prabhuji. But even after hearing, also we'll do the same thing. But we will try to remember that story. And the tips on chanting, it was wonderful, really wonderful, Prabhuji. And sometimes we do not get that enthusiasm to chant on because we keep on looking for distractions. How I can go from here apart from chatting, but somehow your tips have really are helpful, Prabhuji. And thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask a question regarding that Mahatattva and the Pradhana, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Is my understanding correct? Is it only because of the false ego that the living entities had? Is it only because of that the whole creation has happened? And if at all that has to happen, it is only by the glance of the Lord, no, Prabhuji. So every Jivatma, including Brahma, was in the glance of the Lord. So how is that, Prabhuji? Like Brahma and all, they are all superior positions. They are in the superior positions, and those, do they also have that same false ego like us, these living entities?
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
not able to
wonderful.
understand.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Brahma and everyone are superior living entities. However, Brahma also is covered by a body. The soul of Brahma is also covered by a body. His body is made up of intelligence. Like our body, living entity's body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, intelligence, and false ego. Brahma's body is made up of just intelligence and false ego. And then there is the soul. So our Brahma, current Brahma, he is a pure devotee. So he's self realized now. But generally, Brahma's body, if they identify themselves as the body, that's the false ego that is identifying themselves as just the intelligence or the mind and things like that. So anyone can get the post of Brahma. Brahma is a post. For example, if someone does Varnashram Dharma for 100 lifetimes, they get the position of Indra or Brahma, one of those positions. But these are all different positions that any living entity can get. Shiva is not a position. Vishnu is not a position. They are a personality. Brahma is a post. Indra is a post. So even though they are superior to us, to the human beings, uh, but and they are at a higher consciousness level, but still they are within this material world. And as long as they are within this material world, they have the false ego. Our current Brahma, who has started this sampradaya, he's a pure devotee. So he's a self-realized soul. Even though he has a body, he doesn't have a false ego now. So all that is okay. But generally, all of the demigods have false ego. They also have material bodies, which are more subtle than us, but nevertheless, it is material.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. If you allow me to ask one more question regarding connection with this kasha, shall I
Sure.
ask, Prabhuji?
Sure.
Prabhuji, the at the time of annihilation, all the living entities, those who have not perfected their life, will ultimately um, rest on the body of the. Is it not that, Prabhuji? Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu.
Yes. Yes.
So, if my understanding correct, I don't know. I may be wrong. So, how are they coming? Only by the glance of the Lord? And why is the Lord instructing Brahma to have create the world? And we say that Brahma is the father of all the living entities. I'm not able to understand this, Prabhuji. How is it, Prabhuji? Hope I did not confuse you with my question, Prabhuji.
No. That's a good question. Brahma is considered to be the engineer of the universe. Krishna is the father. Aham bija pradapita. He says in Bhagavad Gita, I'm the seed-giving father. So every living entity's the father of the soul is Krishna. Brahma is the engineer of the universe. What do the engineers do? Engineers don't create anything. They just take one metal here, one metal there. They just put it together and uh, they engineer a new thing. The raw materials, they take the raw materials, move it around in a certain way, make a machine out of it. So that's engineer. Creator, meaning you have created the raw materials. The real creator is Krishna. Brahma is not the creator. Brahma is the engineer of the universe. So
Thank you so
in
much.
some way you can also, Prabhupada says he's the secondary creator, but really he's not creating. He's creating from the basic things. He's the engineer of the universe, basically.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for patiently answering these questions, because I never used to give interest on these topics, because I just considered that the Lord is great, because we are not able to, with this minute mind, we are not able to understand anything of the Lord about the creation, and it's because such a vast and difficult topic. But you really made us understand, and all these, Prabhuji, thank you so much. My pranams to you. And Prabhuji, and thank you for giving all of us your association, Prabhuji. Shall we ask any question? Give some time for question answers, Prabhuji, for some other devotees also.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Meenakshi Mataji, you can go ahead, Mataji, with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanwad pranams. Prabhuji, my doubt is in the 15th sloka, it is said in the translation, for over 1,000 years the shiny egg lay on the waters of the causal ocean in the lifeless state. Then the Lord entered it. So, is there any reason why the shiny egg lay there in the causal ocean? And if is it my right understanding that the creation, that is, we were there already in that, or only after that the whole universe got created, Prabhuji? How is it?
No, it says that once once the Lord glances, that's when all the uh, agitation starts, because he impregnates the material nature with the living entities. So this is, and here he says, this is called Hiranya Garbha, which is nothing but Mahat Tattva. So after the Lord glances into the Pradhan, then it becomes Mahat Tattva or Hiranya Garbha. So specifically, your initial question was why it took 1,000 years, over 1,000 years, the shiny egg lay in the waters. It is kind of a estimate, because at that point time was also not existing. Time was also in that shiny egg. So there is no years, you know. But just because we are trying to understand all of this creation under the influence of time, under the influence of space, trying to understand something which is beyond the influence of time and space. So they are giving approximately, you can say, long time, but there was no time then. But you can consider 1,000 years. So, in that point, from that point of view.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, your pencil has explained that Tamisra,
Mhm.
anger, tamas, bodily concept, moha, attraction. Is it not, Mother? Is it, I'm right, Prabhuji? So, my question is, because of angry with the Supreme Lord, we have came to the Tamisra position, and then by that we have bodily concept created, and then we have got the attraction towards the. Actually, my thing is, from which side we have to make detachment in regular life to be always in Krishna consciousness. Yes, because this anger, bodily concept, attraction, all these are obstacles to us for growth in the this spiritual advancement. So anyhow, we have to, one by one, we have to we must be detached from these things. So how to? Right from, not from bottom to top or top to bottom.
Yeah, we are so much, that's a very nice question. We are so much entangled in so many different ways and so many different knots. Now that we have to get out, this is a valid question. Do we start from bottom to top or top to bottom? From Mahamoha to Andhatamisra or Tamisra to Mahamoha? So that's true. First, we have to understand that we are stuck in this position and it's very difficult to come out. Only if someone is bound, who can open someone who is bound? His hands and legs are all tied up. Who can come and open? Only someone who is not bound. Only someone whose hands and legs are open. They can come and untie our hands and legs. As much as we struggle, we'll get more and more entangled. So, first thing to understand is we on our own cannot come out of this situation. As soon as we understand that, that is the starting of bhakti. Starting of bhakti is we cannot get out of this material world on our own. We need help. And that help comes in the form of acharyas, in the form of devotees. And when we follow the instructions of the devotees, then slowly, steadily, all of these starts untying. And if we perform Mangal Arti, if we chant, perform our sadhana, if we serve the Vaishnavas with humility, sincerity, and love, if we preach and try to share whatever Krishna consciousness we have with others, all of these things pleases the Supreme Lord, and then He unties us from all these different entanglements. And Mangal Arati is very powerful. Prabhupada has put in all the 64 forms of devotional service just by performing Mangal Arati. In fact, Prabhupada said, His Grace Shruta Kirti Prabhu, that if you do Mangal Arati every day for 12 years, whatever you say will come true. So that is the power of Mangal Arati. So let's try to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions and do our sadhana nicely. And then we will see that slowly and steadily all of these things are being revealed to us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Subbarao, Prabhuji, you can go ahead with your question also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, Prabhuji, in that sloka of 7th chapter, Bhumirapa Nalo Vayu Kammano Bhuktirevacha Ahankar Itiyame Binna Prakritrashtata. By Lord Krishna's sloka, it's only Ahankara mentioned, Prabhuji. Where from this false ego word came as from Krishna's sloka? Because everywhere we hear in purports and everywhere false ego. Because it is understood as ego from that sloka. So how I have to understand about ego, true ego, false ego, and what is the thing to realize? Because as per the sloka, it's only meant as ego, where nothing mentioned as false is not adjective that is used. But it comes everywhere in throat.
Yeah, that's a nice question. So if you see ahankara, ahankara means aham. Aham means I, and thinking that I am great, I am the person. Now, to translate this ahankara into English, if we say ego, ego, if you see the dictionary meaning, all it means is identity. Ego means identity. But ahankar doesn't mean just identity. Ahankar means false identity. Because our true identity is the soul. False identity is I am the body. So there is a false ego and true ego. When we translate ahankar into English, Prabhupada has thought very deep, and he has come up with this word false ego, because ego just means it's my identity. But is it true identity or false identity? I can say ego means I am the body, that's also ego. I am the soul, that is also ego. But I am the body, that is false ego, because I am actually not the body. I am identifying as someone who I am not. I am the soul, but I am identifying that I am the body. That is false ego, false identity. When someone thinks I am the body, that's a false ego. So, ahankar that Krishna is trying to tell is false identity of thinking that I am this body. That is material. That ahankar is matter. But as opposite to ahankar, opposite to false ego is true ego. True ego is I am the soul. That is not ahankar. Thinking I am the soul is not ahankar. Thinking I am the body, that is ahankar. Therefore, Prabhupada said it's not just ego, it's false ego, false identity. But true ego is I'm the soul. And bhakti transforms the false ego into true ego. Bhakti transforms the ahankara into our true identity. Does that make sense?
Subbarao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. But only thing, that word, because whenever I speak like this, some of the Krishna conscious, non-ISKCON, they ask in Krishna sloka, telling this only ego, where you are talking about false ego, false ego. It's your own explanation. Ego means ego is there.
Yeah.
So everybody must have ego. That side of things come daily. I don't have anything else to say. Now I have got something to say. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhuji, Ashish Prabhuji, Dandat Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for that. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So you one doubt which has been passed on to me by other devotees. The origin of Brahma, what we have heard, is like through lotus star only. Lotus star sprouting out of Bhagavatam, and there we see Lord Brahma. But in Brahma Samhita, I suppose Sloka 5, that it says that on the right thigh of Bhagavatam, Brahma originates. So is it like Brahma also comes out in a different way? All the Brahmas are coming in one way, in the same way, or they are coming in a different way?
As far as I understand, all Brahmas come the same way. What is the fifth verse? What you said?
That is the reference of Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita, I suppose the sloka 5 that explains that Brahma coming out from Lord Vishnu from the right thigh of Lord Vishnu. Okay, so that devotee showing me that reference, and from there I could understand that probably Brahma might be coming in a different way. So,
Well, I have the fifth verse of Brahma Samhita, which is a big verse. Chaturashram tat paritaha Shveta Dvipakyam Adbhutam Chaturashram Chaturmurtish. It's talking about the surrounding external plane of Gokul, and it doesn't say anything about Brahma here. It talks about
probably,
Shveta Dvipa.
I think, yeah, so probably it might not be the fifth one, but one of the words in Brahma Samhita that says about this,
Someone is saying 5.1. What is that? Suma Mataji?
I just posted that shloka, Prabhuji, but it is fifth chapter and first shloka. That is
not that. If you have time, can you search on that? Can someone search? Even if you search like right thigh, I suppose it should come. In Veda base, you can search.
Prabhuji, could you please give us the reference, Prabhuji? Fifth shloka of the Brahma Samhita?
The verse may be different, but it is from Brahma Samhita. The verse may be different.
Anyway, maybe when we get that verse, you can let us know so we can speak on something which is authentic, because we have to see what the context is and all of that.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna. Does anyone has any other questions? No, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the association. And we always look forward for your association again and again, because we are so much indebted to you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
We'll end the prayer. End with the prayer.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Pranam. Prabhuji. Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Pranam.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
All glories to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class.
All glories to the Matajis and Prabhujis who are present here. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.